All right, so on this episode, we're going to talk about tracking devices. And I got to tell you, I'm the person to talk to. I'm realizing that I'm wearing 4 different devices currently. And, maybe it's not for everyone. And I guess maybe I could first talk about like, why would you track information? And I think that a lot of it has to do with just making you more aware of the relationship between your behavior and your health. And so we'll talk through some of these devices that I personally use and wear. Let's start with an Oura Ring. I have an Oura Ring that I've been wearing for about the last 4 years and on my finger, and then I've got a Whoop here on my wrist. Now, these are actually similar devices. I've probably had the Whoop for about a year and a half. They do similar things. I think they track similar information. They just present them differently, and I kind of wanted to see what the Whoop did versus the Oura Ring. I'd have to say if I had to choose between the two, I probably would choose an Oura Ring, although like Amy and other people would be like, I don't want a ring like that. So, but they basically look at your heart rate variability, your body temperature. They track your sleep. They track your activity. And for me, it gives me a lot of good information. Especially like a relationship between, hey, like drinking caffeine late or eating late, and then how I slept. You can see the relationship there. Then there's all the Apple devices, but I'm of course wearing an Apple Watch. I don't particularly use the Apple Watch a lot, other than maybe tracking steps, which has been something that I think is well worth keeping an eye on. This year, I'm aiming to average 8,000 plus steps. I think I'm about 8,500 steps a day that I'm averaging. There's lots of step devices. And the next device I'll mention that I'm wearing, like I said, 4 different devices, the health devices. The next one's probably, I think, the most important one, and that is a continuous glucose monitor. I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor right now. And I've worn one off and on the last 2-3 years. I find it extremely interesting and motivating, because you can very quickly get feedback on the relationship between the food you eat and how it's affecting your body. And, I remember back a couple days ago, we had a Thanksgiving lunch at Churchill. And, I was like, I think I'll have some sweet potato pudding. I'll have some corn, whatever, that was sweet, and a couple other things. And man, my blood sugar just like spiked so bad. And then it was just like off all day the next couple of days. And I was like, just a reminder, I'm like, I don't need to do that. Also, you can kind of see like, hey, if I walk before or after, how that kind of levels out my blood sugar. So I would say that is my favorite device in terms of just actually impacting my behavior. And then of course, and as far as the continuous glucose monitor, I've used NutriSense. You can just purchase them without a doctor. Or you can, go if you have, I think if you're pre-diabetic, you should be able to get them through your doctor. So, but I can't highly recommend those enough. Levels is another good company that does continuous glucose monitors. So, and then of course I've got a smart withing scale with goes through, and I literally have like 12 years of data of my weight, which is kind of, maybe you don't want 12 years of data of your weight, but kind of seeing the ups and downs. I would say that it's very motivating when you get on week after week and it's going down. That is really fun to see that downward spiral. But my scale, again, a smart withing scale, is showing your fat mass, your muscle mass, and giving you some additional information is helpful. Again, all these things. Maybe you just have to be a certain type of person, but for me, I'm looking at them constantly. I want to win. I want to do well. And so whether it's sleep, exercise, how my body interacts with food, all these devices have been extremely helpful to me. They've played a big part in helping me lose 30 pounds the last couple of years. And I think for you, for anyone, they could be very helpful and motivating to help you keep track of where you are in reality and then where you want to be. So, hey, feel free to reach out if you had any questions about the devices. Again, I think the Oura Ring's great. The continuous glucose monitor's great. I think you should have a scale that keeps track, a smart scale that keeps track of your weight. And anyway, hope those things can be helpful in your journey. Again, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to nerd out and talk about different devices for tracking your health.